Host is Julie. You are muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Julie. So this is our guest, speaker guest for tonight today, Julie Brar. Julie Brar is well, she has long list of potential, but I'm going to just speak a little bit about her. She is an award-winning health coach and nutritionist. She specializes in helping men and women both losing weight, gain energy, balance their gut health. That's what we are going to be talking about. While all her clients or customers, they are coached through what to eat and what not to eat. She is a blogger. She is also an author of bestseller. The book titled "Courage to Change," and it is available online on Amazon. She also co-hosts the show called The Wellness Movement. And this show also covers the various topics of wellness and health. I'm really glad that she is joining us today from all the way from Canada. And welcome on board, Julie. I don't know. There was a lot of things which I could not say it right now. Lot which you can, if you want to add up, you can do that. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen for now so that Julie can come in. Hi, Julie.
Good morning.
Good
It's
morning from
here.
and good afternoon from Dubai. Welcome on board. Thank you so much.
Hello.
So just introduce yourself to all our audience here today. Um,
Yeah.
before we start.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm going to still say morning because it's morning here.
It's too early, right? You have a
Yeah.
long
So my passion is health and wellness, and actually my vision is to actually help people to prevent many of the chronic diseases of our time. So heart disease, which kills roughly 25 million people a year, is 80% preventable. Type 2 diabetes, which also has millions and millions of deaths, is 90% preventable. So a lot of these diseases of modern times are diet and lifestyle diseases, and therefore they have to be addressed through the diet and the lifestyle. And a lot of people, because most people are chronically ill, if you look around, you can see that, because there's such social pressure to fit in and be like everyone around them, therefore we have an epidemic of chronic diseases. And yet, if you decide to take charge of your health, and especially the people that have the most influence to change health is actually women, because women are the ones who are making the meals, they're running the households. And so not only are you going to be taking charge of your own personal health, but you can influence your entire family. So there might be resistance initially in the beginning, because anytime we try to change anything, it can be challenging. However, in the long run, it's going to be worth it. And I come to you as someone who didn't eat perfectly all the time. I grew up in North America, so I ate fast food. I ate junk food. I used to subsist on chocolate bars, and I was addicted to sugar. So, I understand what is the psychology, but in order to really transform your health, you have to be willing to change what you're doing. Because my belief is this, is if what you're doing is working, then our body is designed to be in homeostasis. It's designed to be healthy. So if what you're doing is working, then there should be no disease. But because there's chronic illness, whatever that manifestation is, whether it is in a serious chronic disease or whether it's just things like not having energy, not sleeping properly, hormonal imbalances, weight gain, skin issues, food allergies, sensitivities, those are all signs that your system is out of balance. So you need to be looking at diet and lifestyle to address the things that are out of balance.
I'm going to, I mean, this is a really great introduction, what you actually do, because this is something which we are going to be talking about. But for all the audience who have joined us now, I would like to thank you all. And what I'm going to do is just a request to all of you that please mute yourself. If you have any question while I'm now going to start speaking to Julie, and if there are any questions regarding what we are talking about and regarding our topic for today, which is, of course, balancing and weight loss, please put it in the chat box. And as soon as myself and Julie are done our conversation, Julie will be actually taking those questions for you. Okay, so I think let me start, Julie, by asking you a very simple question. And the question is about our gut. As a nutritionist, as a coach, a wellness or health coach, what do you think? What is gut? Why is it important to have a good and healthy gut? That's my question, because I know it's a very simple question, but coming from you, what do you think it exactly means or should mean to us?
So your gut is your digestive system, right? Your small and your large intestine. And the simplest answer is that all disease manifests in the gut. It starts in the gut. So if you address the foods that you're putting into your body, you can address the root cause of diseases.
Right. Wow. So, sometimes we eat something out, and sometimes it doesn't agree with our stomach, right? So we say, oh, there's something wrong with our digestive system, but that could be something temporary. What my next question would be for you, what are the signs for any individual to know that he or she has unhealthy digestive system? Because one is something which just becomes out, we come out of it in a day or two, but there are times when it prolongs. So as a coach or as the health professional, what do you think is the time when we really have to look into it, that we do not have a good gut, we need to do something about it?
Well, this is actually more in my scope as a nutritionist. So, I mean, health coaches are more, you know, so the science is more on the nutrition side. Um, it could be, not being able to go to the bathroom or going to the bathroom too much. That's usually a sign that things are out of balance.
Okay.
Hives, skin issues, allergies, food sensitivities could be for a whole number of reasons. It really depends on what somebody ate, right? So may not necessarily mean that the food that somebody had is. So I think my question is, what specifically, like what food did they eat?
So
Yeah.
everything comes down to what we are eating, which
Yeah.
is what normal would be. Okay, so for the past whole year, we are going through COVID, right? And everywhere, the only sound that comes in is immunity, immunity. So when I was doing my research, there's a lot available on the net, and everything boils down to your gut. So how do you say the immunity is, what is the relationship between the gut and the immunity or immune system? How would you explain that for us?
There is a very thin layer of cells that separate your gut from your immune system.
Okay.
So about 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. So anytime you're compromising your gut health, you're also simultaneously compromising your immune health.
Okay.
And actually, most of the serotonin in your body also lives in your gut. So anytime you're, attacking your gut health, you're also going to be attacking your mood at the same time. So there is this cascade, this ripple effect in your body. So the foods that I'm talking about that are problematic for gut health are things like processed meats, red meats, processed foods, sugar. So I'm not talking about fruit, I'm talking about processed sugars. And that even includes the natural sugars, things like agave and maple syrup, things that people view as healthy,
Yes.
you have to think about the effect that it has on the gut. You know, the bacteria that is spawned from eating processed sugars
Right.
or, sugar in general, so that includes maple syrup,
Mm-hmm.
that bacteria is very different from the bacteria that comes about because you're eating brown rice. So alcohol, caffeine, farmed fish, eggs, all of those things are problematic for gut health.
Oh, wow. That's
Oh, and
interesting.
dairy. Let's not forget dairy.
Yes. Dairy, yes. Nowadays, there's a lot of things that's going around and a lot of information on why dairy should not be taken up. But with eggs, I'm kind of surprised. Why eggs? Because egg has got so many, such good things in them. Why eggs? I know there are people are allergic to it, but for those who are not,
Actually, from an allergy standpoint, eggs are very problematic.
yes.
If someone comes to me and they have an issue with allergies, we're going to be automatically removing eggs for sure,
Okay.
and dairy.
That's the first thing you start. And then
It's always on an elimination diet. Eggs and dairy and red meat go. And
wow.
there's a reason for that, because what we've been culturally conditioned is different from the effects that these foods are having in the body. So the
Right.
science is crystal clear,
Okay.
but people are very slow to catch on to the science because it's not how we've been told our entire life, how we've been marketed to. Marketing is different, right?
Yes.
Marketing is just me advertising a product and trying to get you to buy it. It's no
Right.
different, right? But that it's just problematic for what is happening in the gut. And so if your goal is health,
Yes.
then you have to look at removing these foods. And these are all foods that I used to have in my diet too. I get it, but the bacteria in your gut, not just the bacteria, all the microbes, because it's not just bacteria, it's also viruses and protozoa, and you are more microbes than you are human. So there are trillions upon trillions upon trillions of cells, and those cells prefer to feed on plants.
On plant. Oh, okay. Yep. So, all
So
right.
plant fibers, all the different plants. So I'm talking about fruits, veggies, whole grains, right?
So should I
That's
say,
what they prefer to feed on. Those plant fibers,
yeah,
that's what they live on. And so if your diet is devoid of that, or there's a minimal amount of that, then guess what? They're not thriving. And if they're not thriving, you're not thriving.
okay. So when you just talked about these fibers, and we all know fiber is really good for the digestive system, and but what food? Because quite a number of time we are told have veggies, have fruits, and then we have so many other products available in the market, which they show it as a good fiber. What is this fiber? Why is it important for our digestive system?
So it's just plant foods, right? It should not be coming in a box.
Okay.
Think about it as like a whole grain,
Oh,
lentils, right?
yes.
You
Okay.
know, I mean, yes, lentils are usually packaged up, but there's not processing,
They're not
right?
processed.
You
Okay.
have to think about fiber-rich foods as plant foods that are not processed,
Right.
right? So as
Okay.
soon as something's been processed, it is lacking in essential nutrients, the way that nature designed.
Right.
Like
Right.
white rice is very different from brown rice.
Okay.
Right? Brown rice has the fibers and the nutrients. White rice is stripped of it.
Okay. It is more processed, that is.
It's processed. So you have to think of unprocessed whole foods.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
It should not be coming in a package. So if you go into the produce section, have at it. If you can just buy, the bigger the variety of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and plant foods that you can get into your diet, we're talking lentils and beans and all of that good stuff, the better off you're going to be. And the thing is, scientists are still studying this. They're still discovering how these different plant fibers are affecting the gut microbiome. They just know it, they do, right? So
Right.
meat has no fiber, zero.
Interesting. Interesting.
And that's why, like, you know, sometimes people who have a lot of meat in their diet
Yeah.
are backed up for days,
Oh,
you know?
really?
Yeah.
This is news for me. I mean, this is interesting.
You,
Okay. Okay.
the laxative industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes. Yes. And
Something
that,
that people should be able to do every single day, 2 or 3 times a day. Some people can't do it all. And I know I've talked to people and they're like, oh yeah, I haven't gone number 2 for 5 days. I'm like, wow, that's not good,
that's not
you
good. Yeah.
know?
So that
So
is
they
definitely.
use diuretics, they use things like coffee, or they'll use laxatives because their body is not functioning properly. That is a huge red flag.
Wow.
And so I would also say, going back to the fiber,
Hmm.
you need to have minimum 30 different types of plant foods into your
No
diet
way.
every single week.
How do you do that? 30, 30?
30,
No
right?
way. I mean,
Yes
how?
way. This is what the science shows. There is
Sorry,
an
I'm not a
there is
plant.
an international research study called the Gut Health Project, and they
Yes.
looked at populations like the US, the UK, and populations that are closer to nature. And the ones that are closer to nature, that don't eat processed foods, that eat mostly natural foods, they get 200 grams of fiber a day, and they get in excess of 30 different types of plants.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
The
So, okay,
UK, it's like less than half of that, and the US is even worse. So
while
the
we are
US dietary guidelines say you need to get 30 grams of fiber a day, which is very low. I consider that on the low side. Most people get somewhere between 15 to 20, which
oh,
is
wow. Okay.
really bad.
Okay. So while we
Really,
are
really
talking
bad.
about,
That is a failing grade as far as gut health is concerned. Like, so many people come to me, they're like, oh, I'm so worried about protein, protein, protein.
yes,
It's like
yes, yes.
97% of Americans,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say Canadians too, because our culture is very similar. 97% of Americans are fiber deficient, which
Yes.
means their gut is not functioning properly. So let's put this in the context of what's happened in the last year. Do you think what we're going
Mm,
through would be a problem if people had a healthy gut?
yes. Wow.
No, it would not be a problem. Someone
Mm,
like me who's really focused on health and is very mindful of what I eat and how much I sleep and how I treat myself and moving and exercising and all that, I don't worry about any virus ever.
really, eh?
I don't
Wow.
need to.
You don't need to, because of course you are giving what your body is really
Because my immune system is
for.
strong. That's what your immune system is for. It's designed to fight off foreign invaders like bacteria and viruses. But
Right.
if you are immune compromised, as in your immune system is not healthy,
Mhm.
or you have a chronic illness going on, which also means your immune system is not healthy, then
Mm.
yeah, you have something to be scared about.
Something to be scared about. Now, while we are talking about the immunity, and we just talked about the digestive, unhealthy, healthy digestion, uh, when I was just reading through, they have connected the gut to the brain. And
Mhm.
what they are saying, that your brain is number one, because it takes care of your central nervous system, and through which your muscles and this and that, the whole body works around that. But your gut is another little brain. You want to touch base on that? Why do you think they are connecting the two, the brain
It's because
and the
there's a communication between the brain and the gut, and there is research that's showing that the gut is actually more in charge than the brain. There is communication that's going between your gut and your brain, and if you're feeding your body, you know, processed foods or sugary foods, guess what? It's actually really affecting your brain. Those microbes in your gut, like when someone comes to me and they're addicted to certain foods, it tells me that the microbes in their gut, those microbes are addicted to those foods. So we have to change what we're putting in their body to starve off the bacteria, grow like those microbes, grow some new microbes that don't crave those foods and crave other foods.
Okay. So microbes you're talking about, is it the prebiotics and the probiotics? Are you
No,
talking about those microbes? What are
no.
these?
I'm talking about just in general. So your gut has anywhere between 300 to 500 different strains of not just bacteria,
Okay.
but it can be yeast. It can be like various viruses. It's a big family of different types of microbes. So, and they're not necessarily all named either, right? So and this is not about ingesting prebiotics or probiotics. You
Mhm.
can't fix your gut just on prebiotics and probiotics.
Mhm.
If you're not eating healthy, if you're not eating lots of plant foods, your gut is not thriving.
Okay.
Prebiotics won't fix that, and nor will probiotics. However, eating different types of plant foods will give the microbes in your gut the food that they need, and they will thrive. It's very simple. So, for example, let's take a banana.
Mhm.
A banana that is more on the green side is fiber rich,
Okay.
and it functions as a prebiotic in your gut. So it feeds the microbes that can live on that banana. Let's take some brown rice. You can cook brown rice, let it cool, and eat it. It acts as a resistant starch in your body, so your body won't digest it,
Mhm.
but it will feed all the microbes that subsist on that particular strain of fiber.
Oh, wow.
So
So,
it's all different. Like people like to minimize it down to one or two things. All the simplest way I can say it is eat as many different types of plants as you can at the minimum 30 different varieties a week. So take out a sheet of paper and start writing down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
okay.
and write down all the different types of plant foods that you're having.
Okay.
Meat, dairy, fish don't count. They don't have fiber.
Oh, wow.
They do not count. So it can only be plants. So Monday, oatmeal with berries. Okay, great. That means Tuesday, you can't have the same thing. You need
Mm.
to have something different.
Why is that?
Because if you're eating the same plant foods day after day after day, you're not getting the variety. You
Oh,
need 30 different types of plant foods.
wow. That's very
You
interesting.
know, so if I open up my fridge, what do I have? I have a kiwi, I have papayas, I have berries, I have apples, I have oranges. That's just 5 different types of fruit right there, right?
Okay.
And then on the plant side, I've got a squash, I got sweet potatoes, I got cucumbers. What else? I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head what's in my fridge. Onions, garlic, ginger.
Mm.
What else? Oh, I've got lentils. I've got yellow lentils, red lentils, brown lentils, right? Now I'm up to 9.
Wow.
I
So,
haven't touched on the rice. And so, oh, and I'm growing some sprouts on my kitchen counter,
oh, yeah.
right? So it's just really like, so my thing is I have to cycle day. I don't eat the same dinner every night. I try and mix it up. I'm having something different every night, having something different for breakfast, something different for lunch. And the reason is I want the variety of plant foods.
So I hope the audience are already jotting down everything what they have in their fridge for now, because if they have any question, they can actually put it here in the chat box. Okay, so now, like we talked about immunity, we talked about the brain and the gut connection. How about skin? Why do a lot of people talk about breakouts, and it's a very very common factor which we see, relation from your gut to the skin. What is
Well,
that relation? Why do we actually do have that issue?
well, it just comes down to the skin is the largest organ on your body, and
Okay.
whatever you're eating is going to affect it. So normally when someone comes to me with skin issues, the first question I ask them is, do you have dairy?
Oh, okay. All right.
And if they tell me that they have dairy in their diet, I said, you need to stop having dairy.
So what would they have if they are asked to have no dairies? What is the alternatives for that?
Well, there's tons of plant milks on the market.
Correct.
So
Any
there's
plant milk is good.
oat milk, there's almond milk, there's soy milk. There's no
Okay.
health risk to soy. That's all BS.
Thank you
You
for
know,
clearing that. I was going to ask you that because
it's
that,
all BS. The estrogens in soy are not
yeah, yeah,
estrogens.
yeah.
They are phytoestrogens, which are plant estrogens. They do not react the same way in the body. And it's just all of a scare tactic because the dairy industry doesn't like the fact that there are all these plant alternatives that are on their turf. But if I can just go back to dairy for a second,
Sure.
think about it logically. Human beings were designed to be, women, maybe anywhere like a fully grown adult woman is maybe somewhere between 120 to maybe 150 pounds, depending on how tall she is, give or take, I'm guessing. Men between 180 and maybe 210 pounds, possibly, depending on how tall they are, right? An adult cow is supposed to be 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
So the hormones, just think about it, ladies. Everybody who has a child, who you've nursed your baby, your milk is designed for your baby. It has the hormones, the proteins, the enzymes, the nutrients, everything to help your baby to grow to a point where they can be weaned off breast milk and given food. Yes?
Right.
Is that the point? Okay. So the milk of a cow or a goat or a sheep or a camel, they're for that species baby. So the milk of a cow is designed to grow a very large bovine mammal that's supposed to be 1,000 pounds. So it has the enzymes, the protein, the hormones, the nutrients to grow a very large animal. What it does in the human body is it stimulates growth, things like acne and cancer cells. Dairy has been directly linked to breast cancer in women and prostate cancer in men. This is not up for debate. This has been found in study after study after study. So there is no reason for humans to be consuming the milk of another species.
That's very interesting. I mean,
and it also drives allergies in humans. It drives asthma in kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
As well? Oh, wow. Is it mainly, I think, well, I'm just asking you this. Is it could be because of all the hormones that are being injected for these animals to
No,
more,
it doesn't.
not because of,
It has to do with the fact that milk itself, any milk,
okay,
human milk, cow milk, goat milk, milk
right.
by its very nature has
Oh,
hormones in it.
oh, wow. Okay.
It
Yeah,
has to have hormones in it because those hormones are needed to help the
yeah.
child, the
Yeah.
baby of that species to grow,
Correct. Okay.
right? A baby calf drinks its mother's milk. Well, it's supposed to drink its mother's milk, except that humans like to take that milk and have it. And then 40 years later, when they end up with breast cancer, they're wondering, oh my God, I don't know why I have breast cancer.
Oh my goodness. Wow. This is
And I'm not kidding. In the last 2 weeks, I've had 4 people approach me with cancer diagnosis.
Oh, wow. Oh.
2 of those cancers were breast cancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And 1 is in a woman under the age of 40.
Wow. It's a sad reality of today, I guess.
And the other thing, it's not a sad reality of today. It's highly preventable, is what my point is that we don't need to be drinking milk. And the funny thing is, I was studying about this when I was a teenager. And I remember, because I'm South Asian and I was raised on dairy as well. And I remember reading about this. And I told my mom, I said, we're not supposed to be drinking milk. Like, it's for baby cows.
Wow.
We don't have the same stomach as a cow. My mother thought I was crazy. The science hasn't changed. The science has stayed the same, but humans are very stubborn. But I think you would feel differently if you end up with a cancer diagnosis. The other thing is that dairy consumption has been linked with the early onset of puberty in boys and girls.
Very interesting. Okay.
Why? Because it's the hormones. The hormones do what they're supposed to do. They stimulate growth.
They stimulate growth.
So when you have like 9-year-old and 10-year-old girls starting to have, periods and growing breasts, that's why. That's what's going on. And this is based on the research of Dr. Neil Barnard. So he runs Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine in the US. So this isn't my research. This is other people's research that I'm sharing, and some of the cancer research comes from Dr. T. Colin Campbell from Cornell University. So I want to be very clear that these are actual studies, and there are people who are the researchers who've done extensive study after study after study, and you're welcome to look them up as well.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it will be lovely if you can share those research links with us. That'll be really great because
well, I don't have any links. These are just like, I studied with Dr. Campbell at Cornell.
Okay.
So he's one of my nutrition teachers, and I know of Dr. Barnard's work. I have some of his books. I've heard him speak many times. So I know the dairy side of it very, very well, because these are things that I've picked up from him. But you're welcome to look up Dr. Neil Barnard.
Maybe just write up for us the names of those two doctors. Now, we talked about the guts. Now, we come to the very, very important point right now. Is there a connection between the good health, good gut to the weight loss? Is there a connection there? Would you be able to?
Anytime you remove foods that are driving inflammation in the body, so the body will not lose weight when, in a whole bunch of different circumstances, the body is not going to lose weight. If there are too many calories, a lot of times people have too many empty calories in their diet, so things like sugar. And so they're driven to overeat because their body is still craving nutrients, right? So as long as the body is craving nutrients, you're going to be driven to eat.
Right.
The other thing to also consider is if there's stress and inflammation in the body.
Hi, babes.
Which for most people is a thing. So as long as there's inflammation and stress, the body won't release weight. So stress can be in the form of the foods that we're eating.
Okay.
It can also come in the form of not getting enough sleep. So anytime someone is sleeping for 6 hours or less for a prolonged period of time, so I'm talking just like a week, the body goes into insulin resistance, and the hormones go out of balance. And so the body, whenever there's not enough sleep, it perceives it as a stress state. When your body is in a state of stress, it won't release weight because it's trying to survive. Right? So, and then lastly, it's really looking at the foods in your diet that are driving inflammation. It could also be a buildup of chemical toxicity. So usually when I work with people, we start on a pretty focused 30-day program where we're addressing food, the types of food that they're putting in their body. And we're also looking at inflammation. We're driving down inflammation and working on the gut. And I'm not kidding. I have people who drop anywhere from 8 to 30 pounds in a month without exercising. It's because we're changing the fuel. And we're drastically reducing inflammation. And in terms of exercise, I love exercise. In fact, once this call's over, I'm going to make sure that I go for a walk and I get some exercise. But exercise is also a form of stress. So when the system is already stressed and you're exercising and you're putting more stress on it, it's not going to work. So when people come to me and we're working on a 30-day program, I say, okay, you can go for walks, you can do some bike riding, some gentle yoga, but we want to bring, you're not going to be powerlifting, you're not going to be running marathons. We need to drive the inflammation way down in the body so that your body feels safe enough to start to release that weight.
Okay. So how much is it true? Because a lot of time we see It's 20% of your exercise, but 80% of the food you take in. Is that the right ratio which has been told to us when it comes to not only weight loss, it's just like to maintain your weight and working towards a good healthy lifestyle, because I guess weight loss will come when you have that healthy lifestyle, according to what you have been telling us throughout. Does it make sense? Is that the right ratio?
So there's a few ways to think about it. When someone has weight to lose, chances are they didn't put on those 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds overnight.
Right.
It took time.
Mm.
So in order for them to lose weight, it's going to take time.
Correct. So
right? So the first shift you have to make in your own brain is to be prepared to accept that it's going to take time. Yes. So you're not going to do a quick fix.
Yes.
And you have to unlearn all the habits that helped you gain the weight.
Right.
Because I'll go back to my first point at the beginning of the call, which is if what you were doing was working, your body wouldn't be out of balance. So your body is out of balance, which means that you've picked up a whole bunch of habits. And that could be not just food habits. Mm-hmm. It could be habits related to your exercise or lack of exercise, sleep or lack of sleep. It could be all of these stress habits, right? That habit of overstressing, and like so many people I see are super stressed out. They do nothing to manage their stress. Yes. Nothing. Yes. And then they're shocked that they can't lose weight. So yes. These are all the different elements that have to be addressed. And right. That's going to take time because you have to unlearn those habits that you picked up over time. Right. Right. And yes. So for that, patience is key. And yes, it's mostly diet. It's 80% diet. So if you can fix your diet, you do not necessarily have to be spending, and I would say probably like if someone can do like a half hour of movement a day outside of like just being able to move around in your day, like I try and make sure I'm not, because my job is mostly sitting and talking and consulting with clients, is I try and make sure that I move around in my day, right? I get up, first thing I do is I go for a walk, I do some yoga, then I start my day, right? Then in the middle of my day, I have some more movement scheduled in. I actually have it scheduled. Yep. And then I do some more work, right? And then in the evening, I have that time where I'm able to move around and go do stuff. And that's how you want to be scheduling yourself, is that making sure that you're moving your body. But the big thing is diet. Because you cannot outrun a poor diet. You cannot. But this is not about starving yourself either, because I don't believe in that.
Talk about starving. Just give few minutes for us to talk about that particular, because I think we are ready for our questions in the chat box. But please talk about that. It's very important that us understand starving is not the answer. It's not a quick fix. So please tell us about that.
For myself personally, I don't believe in calorie counting.
Okay.
I think that it is a restrictive.
Okay.
It's not sustainable.
Right.
So when I see someone on their Instagram and they're like, oh, I've done my meal prep, and they've got all these first of all, meal prepping at the start of the week for food, like having your food for Thursday laid out on Sunday, by the time you eat that food on Thursday, it's going to have no nutrients in it. Yes. Because food loses nutrients day by day by day.
Really?
So if you cook something on Sunday and you think you're going to eat it on Thursday, you might as well throw it in the garbage, because you're not going to get any nutrition from it. The key is learning how to do quick meals that are healthy, right? Oh. And so my big thing is that if you're eating nutrient density, you want to go high up on nutrient density. And if you're going up on the nutrient density scale, you'll automatically be eating low calorie.
Very interesting. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think, I don't know, do you have anything else that you want to definitely share? Because then we'll open up the forum and we'll start looking at the questions.
No, I think let's
You're
let's
good?
see let's see
Okay.
what questions people have.
Do you see any questions at your end?
What foods create inflammation? Ah, okay. Sugar,
Start from number one. This is very interesting.
sugar, alcohol,
Okay.
dairy, meat, all
Okay.
meat.
Okay.
All meat drives inflammation. Fish too, yes. Processed foods. So all the foods that we're advertised to eat, those are all generally the foods that are going to drive inflammation in your body.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if you're eating those foods, you can pretty much bank on the fact that you probably have inflammation in your body.
Oh, wow. So there's a question which you can maybe answer. The Shaista Lalani, I think she's from Dubai. She's asking, how do you know if you are having inflammation?
I don't know what she means by that question exactly.
I think
But
in
I would say look at your diet.
okay. I think she wants maybe what she meant is there how does a body tell you that it's getting inflamed or anything? Because sometimes like the question I
Okay,
asked.
so if you have joint pain,
Mhm.
if you have joint pain, you've got inflammation,
Okay.
right? There are
Mhm.
certain autoimmune conditions that are actually all autoimmune conditions have inflammation at the core. And
Okay.
so for that, you have to address diet and lifestyle.
Okay. So the question again comes is from Shaista. You said talked about 30 plans. What are those plans? Like I think
Yeah.
she wants to know the 30, what could.
So I can't give a list of the exact 30.
Mhm.
Like I said in my answer, I said lots of plants. So veggies.
Mhm.
So when you're thinking about veggies, you can think about starchy veggies like squash. There's different varieties of squash.
Okay.
There's different varieties of potatoes. Potatoes get a bad name. The
Mhm.
potatoes that are bad for you are French fries and potato chips.
Okay.
Potatoes themselves are healthy. So
All
you
right.
want to be having potatoes and
Uh,
not French fries,
not
right?
breakfast.
So
Okay.
you can be guaranteed that if you're having different types of potatoes and different types of squash, leafy greens, which people
Uh-huh.
are deathly afraid of, are
Uh-huh.
actually really good for you. And one of my nutrition teachers, Dr. Esselstyn, who was the first person to reverse advanced stage heart disease in his patients using a whole food plant-based diet, he
Mhm.
advocates for having leafy greens at every single meal. So what
Really?
are leafy greens? Spinach, collard greens, mustard greens, kale. There's like different varieties of kale. All the different types of lettuce. So just get creative
Right.
and think about all the different types of veggies there are. And if there are veggies, if you're having the same five vegetables all the time, you need to get outside of that. Start having veggies that you don't know what they are, you've never tried them. Like, be willing to experiment with your diet and
Right.
try foods that you haven't tried before, but they have to be plant foods.
Okay.
That's where you're getting fiber from.
Right.
You can't get fiber in a candy bar. You
No.
can't get fiber. You cannot get fiber in meat,
You're
and you
making me
can't
sad.
get fiber in dairy. So it has to be a plant. It has to be a plant. It
Okay.
can be herbs, it can be veggies, it can be fruits, it can be whole grains, it can be lentils, it can be beans. Like, there's so many different varieties, right? So for me to sit here and go list off all the different types of plants, it's going to take me all day.
I understand. Yes.
Get creative.
Get creative. Okay. So there's another question which was sent to us by Asmita Javed. And her question was related to food.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bloated and too much gas.
Mm-hmm.
I have tried skip multiple things, but I can't see the difference. A very, very common yet very important question.
Chances are, yeah, sorry, I have a little interruption. So, without knowing what she's eating and what she's been eating,
She's
it's
been also canceling some food and adding some food. She's been doing that, yet she is unable to understand
okay. But
what.
what I'm saying is, without knowing the specifics of what types of food she's been eating
Yeah.
and what she tried eating that's causing the problem, I mean, I'm willing to say that there's probably like the microbes in her gut are out of balance. And so, and it's a really, so just to give you context, when someone works with me, I do a 3-day meal tracker.
Okay.
I send them a form and say, okay, you need to track your meals for 3 days. Your meals, how much you're exercising, how much water you're drinking, how much you're sleeping, any supplements you're on, any medication you're on. I need to see all that,
Okay.
along with knowing what your symptoms are. And then I can give you an idea of what might be going on. And I'm going to make some suggestions on what you should look at changing in order to improve.
So is it okay for Asmita to get in touch with you?
Yeah, if she wants to do a consult.
Okay.
Yeah. And then someone asked here, as an adult, can I skip dairy completely? Yes.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you are. You can. You're not a baby cow, so you don't need it.
Awesome.
And if you're wanting like something like we make oat milk and almond milk and coconut milk at home.
Yes.
We don't even go to a store to buy it. We just make it at home with like, I take the almonds, I soak them, and then we blend them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Same
And then
thing with the oats,
milk.
same thing with coconut. I don't put any preservatives in it. It's all like, it's all 100% natural.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect. There's another question which has been sent me directly. Is a teaspoon of honey with a pinch of turmeric an anti-inflammatory to aid the gut to drive down inflammation in the gut? Good question, actually.
No, because honey is
no,
sugar.
it's not.
Honey is sugar.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. That's very interesting.
So honey, what did I say earlier? That a lot of people think, oh, natural sugar.
I know, yeah.
The only natural sugar that gets a pass is a fruit. So apple, blueberries, banana, mangoes, watermelon, all those are fine, right? Honey is highly concentrated sugar, and it will feed the microbes in your gut that are going to crave sugar. And sugar drives inflammation in the body.
Oh, it does the other way around. Okay. So what do you suggest?
So any sugar, natural or otherwise, it will drive inflammation in your body. So if your goal is to not be inflamed, you have to get off sugar. And that includes honey. And I know I'm well aware of all the Ayurvedic uses of honey. Yes. But I myself, as a South Asian, don't use honey because I know honey equals sugar.
Very interesting.
Sugar equals inflammation. I don't want inflammation in my body.
Awesome. A really good question from Miraj Sayed. How does menopause aid in weight gain?
Your hormones are changing, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to look at ways to balance hormones. So sleep is a big component of that, right? So if someone's not sleeping properly, it's going to, throw hormones out of balance. So that would be like the big thing. The other thing could also be things that are happening in the diet, right? So if someone's having dairy has hormones, that's going to be throwing some things off.
Again, right? Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so there is more question. We'll take a few more. How to do a gut cleansing, that is, how do you do it if you want to do it at home? What would you suggest?
I would say this is a tricky question, right? Because normally there are different ways to do it. Right. So I would say this is a bigger question. I mean, you could do something that's more of like an elimination diet where you're doing 100% plants, but then the question is what plants, right? So it's not a quick answer.
There's no quick question. Okay. How about,
and I would also say that when it comes to doing cleanses and detoxes, you're better off to work with a professional instead of trying to guess it, right? There's a reason why those of us that are in this space, we do what we do because we've studied it, we've researched it, we know all the science, well, hopefully. And we're staying up to date. Well, I personally stay up to date on the science, right? I stay up to date on all the latest studies and what's coming down the pipe in terms of gut health and chronic diseases, so that I can factor that in when I'm working with someone. I don't expect the person I'm working with to know all the science that I know,
Of
but
course.
I'm a shortcut, right? They can spend their time trying to do that research and figuring it all out, or we can just like be quick about it.
Right. So I think we'll take this last question, which is sent to us, or there's another one by Reem Hindash. She's from Dubai again. Is coffee and tea bad for a person with iron deficiency?
Yes.
Very bad, yeah?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would look for a substitute. I don't, depends on, like, different parts of the world have different access. Like, I know of, like, there's a, like, I myself don't drink coffee anymore, right? I've been off coffee for a while, but there's mushroom coffees that are supposed to be sort of like replacements for coffee.
Oh, I've
Um,
heard about that. Mushroom
yeah,
coffee.
so it would be worthwhile to look at some of the alternatives.
Okay. So we'll take up this last question. Wondering, so if we want to enjoy dessert in our life, what is the replacement of sugar? Brown sugar, honey? You said no. Gur or jaggery?
I don't
What
know what gur and jaggery is.
jaggery is they make it with sugar cane.
Ah, yes. So
It's
sugar cane is sugar. It says it in the name.
okay.
Brown sugar is sugar. It says it
It's
in the name.
natural sugar. Don't you think coming from the sugar cane, it's natural?
It doesn't matter. It's what it does in the body. So what sugar does in the body is it drives inflammation, right? We have to get out of our cultural conditioning of what we think is a right and look at, and I can be super pragmatic about this, because my thing is, oh, if it's not healthy for me, I just don't do it, because my desire is to live as long as possible, as healthy as possible. That's not everybody's goal, right? Some people don't care about that. It's not priority. And so if that's not your priority, then you can disregard what I'm saying, right? And my word is not the law. But if your goal is to be healthy and vibrant and to live as long as possible, then you need to be looking at all the things that are problematic, not just in your diet, but also in your lifestyle. Like, there are things that people do every day that are very problematic. They don't exercise enough. That's a problem. So that's something that has to be addressed. Or they're on their phones until, like, or they're watching Netflix for like 8 hours. That's a problem that has to be addressed, right?
Yes.
So then, just going back to the whole sugar thing, is that sugar drives inflammation. Not only does it feed the bacteria that you don't want in your gut, but that drives inflammation in your body, and inflammation equals disease. Not, maybe not right away, but definitely in the long term. And in the short term, like when I have people come off of sugar, what happens is their aches and pains go away. They start to feel better, and their body starts releasing weight.
So
So
here are
that's the benefit to getting off sugar. There
okay.
is a dessert that we've all been gifted with, if
And
we're willing to look at it that way.
what
And
is
that
that?
is fruit. Fruit
Okay.
is Mother Nature's dessert to us. The
Okay.
problem is that so many people are used to having these very concentrated amounts of sugar, whether it's processed sugar or brown sugar or maple syrup or honey, that thanks honey, that their taste buds are out of balance. Their taste buds have been tricked. But I guarantee you, if you take all those sugars out of your body, you stop consuming them for a certain period of time, you go back and you have a piece of fruit, the fruit is going to taste very sweet to you.
So true.
You
Thank
know,
you so much. I
it's
think
because our taste buds have been tricked. So you literally have to retrain your taste buds, and to also retrain your own thinking of, like, okay, I want something sweet. Like, if I want something sweet, I'll have berries, or I'll have, like, we have fruit in the house. Like yesterday I came home from running errands and I was like, oh, I feel like I feel like something sweet. I had an orange. Now,
Okay.
for some people, they may not think of that as dessert, but I thought, oh my God, this orange is amazing.
Okay. Okay.
But it's because I don't have processed sugar. And
Mm,
so Mother Nature's fruit, Mother
mm,
Nature's gift to us, I go, to me, that's plenty.
right. No,
You
it's
know?
good. It's good to know because Asmita here, she's also very sad like I am. No, so no replacement, but
But
it,
remember what
it
I
is
said, it
there.
also depends on your goals, right?
Yes, goals, and I think a lifestyle change, that is what is needed. And I guess for all whoever is has joined us today, that is exactly what they wanted to hear. They know it, but they wanted to hear from a professional like yourself. And
I just wanted to, before we
oh
end
yeah,
off,
you
I
want to,
just
okay.
wanted to share, like, if somebody
Yeah,
wants to
yes.
connect with me, I do have a free ebook on my website, so you're welcome to sign up for that. I put out weekly newsletters that are, different health topics. The health topic changes from week to week, but I put out content related to that. You can follow me on Instagram. I put out health information on there as well. So there's all these different places to find me. On my Pinterest, I have recipe boards boards as well that you can check out. So yeah.
So that's what she's sharing right now. Her details for future is right here. And I will suggest all of you must follow her on Insta. She gives so much value there. And I like every day she's bringing something or the other, which you will learn. And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Whatever she's doing, it's just wonderful. So I think if I want to put everything whatever you have said in a nutshell, I would say that your gut is the center of your being. It digests and assimilates all the nutrients from the food you eat. It is where the majority of your immune system resides, right? And also it plays a very important role in your moods, in your hormones, and even in your weight. Am I correct? So if
Yeah.
we just want to put everything, so everything boils down to what you're eating, what is your life goal, your lifestyle. And I think all whoever has joined us today, they will agree that yes, that's all is needed to be healthy and uh, you know uh, not only lose weight but manage your weight, manage yourself, right? So I think, is there any other question which you would like to ask Julie, please? If not, anything, I don't see anybody else. Yeah, she has already shared. Yes, Reem, it's the lifestyle change what you need. Okay, so thank you so much, Julie. I think it was wonderful. I hope everybody enjoyed, everybody had learned. I'm glad. Thank you so much, Shaista. I really appreciate your good words. With this, I think we will end our webinar for today. And thank you all for being here. You guys were really good. Thank you so much again. Okay, somebody is asking again, Zarina, for your access for your ebook. And I think
It's on the website.
it is on the website. Okay. And if not, then you guys can always come back to us on Coach Middle East and we will help you get that for sure. And no other question, then we say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, Julie. I really appreciate your time. It was wonderful, excellent information today. And for those who are here, do share all these information if you can with your loved ones, because I think this is all is what we need for today. And with this, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you very much for coming. Bye for now.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Be well.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody who has joined us today. It was so amazing, such an informative talk, certainly very varied opinions. Those of us who are used to dairy, I think it's going to be something to get used to,
Yes.
to see how much dairy. I do believe, though, that, there's never a one fit solution for any person. Some people react very well to carbs, some people don't. Some people react very well to dairy, and some people don't. So I think it's as always, if one is going to be making some huge dietary changes,
Mhm.
it's important to work with the present doctor, do some blood work. What do you think
Exactly.
about that, Farzana?
Yeah, I totally that's why she mentioned that, see, when you're starting any diet, if you think that's what you need, it's always good to go and check it out with your professional, because
Yes.
that's what they have studied, that's why they are there.
Mhm.
And in many cases we have seen it, the diets they are doing without even, I mean, unless you have really looked into that and you know the technical know-how, it's always good not to get into something which is not your forte. Always get the professional help. It's always good to do that for anything, not only just the weight loss, or not only just the gut health, because there are many people who might go back and start doing something which is not for them. Just like you rightly said right now, it's these things should be handled by the professionals.
Well, it's certainly been such an informative session. Thank you, Farzana, for
Well,
interviewing Julie, for bringing her all the way from Canada. And she's such a lovely speaker, so calm, so centered. You can see that the way she incorporates movement into her life, she's got her priorities of her health in place. And we certainly can take some key aspects of the way she's balanced herself and try to incorporate more of that balance into our own life. Definitely, we need to start moving. For sure, the sedentary lifestyle is really not going to do us any favors. Everybody's been complaining of some bulges here and there, unwanted bulges here and there.
yes,
And
yeah,
we don't want to make it a battle of the bulge. Ramadan is coming for a lot of the participants on call are Muslim. I see from their names they're going
yeah.
to be fasting, and I think it's an important time for us to balance even that. Even though we're fasting and boosting the immune system, are we going to be doing more damage when we reopen the fast and start filling ourselves with fatty, oily, over sugary stuff? So everything in moderation, definitely. And
Balance.
that's wishing everybody a really, really amazing start to Ramadan this year. It's just around the corner. We'll be having a Ramadan Coach Middle East webinar at the end of the month of April. Inshallah, look out for that. And wishing everybody well over the weekend, and the rest of the last days of March, the rest of them, either marvelous March or madness March. It is your choice.
That's a good one. Yes,
Take care,
that's.
everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan for joining us. Wishing you all the best of health and wealth.
Thank you very much.